Good morning, everybody. Granite Roots here. This video we're going to talk about just the intro to raids and how to get there and maybe what some of the lingo is. So I'll try to make this as concise as possible. So how do you get to raids first of all? They're in the Lion's Arch Aerodrome, which you see that circle in front of me. You run right up to the door there and we'll do that just so you can see. There are two ways to get there. If you have been there before, if you look at, I'm in Lion's Arch. I'm right by the Fort Mariner waypoint, and then you can run south to enter the aerodrome, which we'll do so you can see. Otherwise, if you already have this waypoint unlocked, you just waypoint there. Or you can teleport to a friend or such. So let's go ahead and go in there. So you're just going to run south to the building with the big, and you see this guy right here. It's going to be the door right behind this Black Lion agent. So we're going to walk in. Lion's Arch Aerodrome. Now, if you haven't been here, that area is unlocked. And I'll talk about a couple features in here too, just to give you an idea, because there's some things like you can do with the practicing in the on the golem. So this is your aerodrome. Over here on this wall are the gates to the separate wings. It starts here low at wing 1, Spirit Vale, and you see how it's locked. You can't get in there unless you have a commander's tag or you have a party that's already in there. Oh, and you got to set it to raid mode there. So now it'll let us in. So Spirit Vale, that's wing 1. Wing 2, Salvation Pass. Wing 3, Stronghold of the Faithful. Wing 4, Bastion of the Penitent. Wing 5, Hall of Chains. And here's where it's opposite. Wing 6 is actually down here, Mithrite Gambit. Wing 7 is up here, Key of Odyssey. Hidden City, I'm probably pronouncing that one wrong. And then coming soon in the next update in August will be the 8th wing, which I'll have to learn, and when I learn it I will be sure to post it. What else do we have in here? So we have that portal. There's a bunch of stuff you can jump around on while you're waiting for party up. Over here you have Black Lion Trading Post, Anvil to reinforce your armor, and this guy right here sells a lot of stuff. He sells some Agni Fusion, kind of like in Fractals, which we'll talk about in another video when I do mine on Fractals. You can buy stuff for Ascended Weapons, trinkets, but something really important is, this is okay, but on this third tab right here, the Magnetite Shards, every so often you can get minis that drop from the bosses, and once you get duplicates you can sell them here or trade them here for Magnetite Shards, because Magnetite Shards are currency. Just be careful when you do it in your Zeal, you don't accidentally sell back your White Mantle Portal device. If you do, you can buy it back, but you're gonna have to, $250 versus spending another 1,000. Then down here, just some other stuff, and of course, ooh, wait. Okay, and then you can use this as a normal vendor. All right, and there's a Laurel vendor here as well. The other thing you'll see too, just for free, so every week there is a raid wing that has this over it. This icon is emboldened, so to make it easier for people to learn, back in the day they didn't have it, but when you learn, you get buffs to certain things like health, damage, and healing or whatever. And that helps if you're learning, so that's good. This one, the other icon, it's always going to be the wing above the one that's doing the emboldened. You get bonus gold and stuff for each boss that you complete in that wing. So let's check out, you have your bank over here. And we'll come back to some of that. So there's a bank, and then right here is the training area. So let's say, and I'll tell you this, when you run raid wings, there's certain equipment and roles they like to see because damage is important, or healing, or whatever, is to best way to maximize stuff that you're doing. So before I mess with this, let's talk about that. So there are certain builds and roles that they like you to use. Any party does, and if you look at, there are many websites you can look at that have already figured this stuff out, tell you what build, what gear to use. I use Snow Crows. There are other good ones out there. And they'll even tell you how to do the rotation of skills in the proper order. If I had a DPS here, I'd show you on the DPS golem, but I just have a healer, which you can practice healing. So you can practice about anything here. So for a minute, let's talk about gear. So let's say you get your build from whatever website of your choice, but it's also going to require gear. Now initially, you don't need Ascended or Legendary stuff. Exotic is fine. They prefer exotic. Anything less than exotic, probably not the best. Your DPS is going to be low, and a lot of people run, and you see this right here. It's a third-party DPS thing. I use Arc DPS, but read all the cautions about it. Sometimes causes problems with the game, and ArenaNet isn't responsible if your game gets screwed up because you're using a third-party item. But that's where you're going to find out if you're in a raid and someone's like, dude, your DPS is low. You're like, how do you know? This is how. But also, you can practice on this golem as an in-game DPS meter when you train on it, and I'll show you that in a second, even though this is, actually I can swap to a DPS build. This is my heal build. So, you're also going to need certain sigils and stuff. The Snow Crows and other websites really spell out what you need to do, best way to do it. They give you tips. It's really good for learning. And then when you do that and you're trying to get your DPS really high, you can come in here and train on this golem. So, and there are certain roles that most raids call for. Typically, you have a tank, someone that controls, moves the boss around. Usually, it's also a healer. So you need. Usually, they run 2 healers, 2 boon appliers that do DPS, and then you have the rest DPS. Again, there may be special mechanics. We won't go into in this video. You'll see in the other videos what they are as we go through them. But that's the basics of it. So let's say you want to practice. Let's see, what build should I use? So let's just I use quick just because that's easier for right now. Okay, so I swap my build, so these are also useful to change on the fly. So activate, what most people do is you're going to adjust self, you're going to add boons, you're going to add all of them, and then you're going to exit. Pretty easy. And the reason you add all is because when the way these parties are configured is so that you pretty much end up with all boons. And that's how they measure their DPS on these websites like Snow Crows, or what their output is. They are using those. And then just to make it the same on here, you're going to click Spawn a Golem. Pick any size. There are certain hitbox things, but for whatever reason, don't worry about that. Weak, average. I'll just go weak because we're only going to do this for a second. And then add additional options. You want to go to add conditions. You want to go to the one with vulnerability. And then you want to add just vulnerability. 25 stacks. Go back. Go back. Go back. Please spawn my golem. So the golem is right there. This little handy dandy thing right here, it just refreshes all your skills. So let's say I do this, and I hit that. My caps lock is linked to the special action key. If you ever run with me in a raid and I start yelling, I don't mean to, it's just I don't realize my caps lock is on. Alright, so let's see if I can remember this rotation. So let's see what I do for DPS. I haven't run this in a while, so no judgment. Alright, that's enough. I don't want to keep you here all day. I'm not doing as much DPS as I usually do. So, my bar says about 22, not bad. Over here, about 21, 24. So if you see down here, that's where it lists my damage per second. And 24 for better than I thought. That's about pretty good for a support DPS. And the guide will tell you what's what. But typically, if you're running a straight DPS, you want to be hitting at least 20k or more. And that'll vary in the fight because different mechanics make you do different things at different times. Okay, and if you need to exit, you can run all the way up or click this. So those are ways you can figure out where you need to be. And if you're not good at DPS or you get kicked out of parties because of that, I used to when I first started. So what I did is I ran a lot of heal builds. As long as you can heal appropriately, they don't care what your damage is for the most part. Okay, so let's talk about now. Let's say you don't know anybody that asks you to join a group. How in the world do you join one? You're going to go up to contacts, looking for group, okay, and you go down to raids. Okay, there are two, raids experience, raids training. First place I'd look if I'm new is raids training. Not always running stuff. Those can be hard to run into. I know my guild runs a raid training every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, or 2 hours after reset. I used to run those, but a friend of mine has taken over, but sometimes I'll pop in and help out. So let's look at raids experience, what's up today. Okay, and then you have a couple guys here selling stuff. So I was hoping to show you that. We'll come back to that. So let's say you're looking for a raid. Let's talk about the jargon and the lingo. So you're going to see like certain lingos like healers. If they're not specified, you just grab a healer that works, but each healer either runs quickness or alacrity. So if it says alac heal, then you want to pick some of the alacrity that heals. If it says quick heal, pick something that has quickness heal. If it just sees healers, just pop in and they'll just let them know which variety you are. They'll also ask for like boon DPS, which is general, pop in with whether alacrity or quickness for DPS, or if they say quick DPS, pop in with the quick DPS, alac DPS, pop in with alac DPS. And then DPS, just bring whatever you want. It also helps too to know, and we'll go over these in other videos, which bosses are better for condition damage versus those that are better for power. Let's see, what else? And then they might have special things in there. If you don't know what they are, don't worry about them. Like, you know, Wing 4, they'll have HK for hand kiter, pylon or baiter, pillar baiter, kiter, those sorts of things. Look out for those. But one really important thing, in addition to that, you can look for is going to be something called KP. And what KP is short for kill proof. So let's see, I'll go on my bank. There's like a website you can do to link it. I don't like doing that stuff because I'm lazy. So what I do is I store all my kill proof in the bank. And what is kill proof? Kill proof is when you kill the boss, it drops a couple tokens that show that you killed the boss. For instance, Veil Guardian, it drops a Veil Guardian fragment, and you can use them for decorations in your guild hall or whatever, or just destroy them. I just been using them, just filling up my poor guild bank hall with that garbage. So you have Veil Guardian, so I kind of sorted mine into wings, so it's easier. So if someone wants kill proof, let's say, oh, wing 1, you know, KP 50, whatever, to prove that you have it, I would do like this, and I either control left click, or if I'm doing all three, shift left click, shift left click, shift left click. So you see here, and it's going to show it up when I press enter. People are like, yeah, good for you, buddy, but that just shows your max stacks is 250. I didn't want to go over that just because of bank space. So wing 1, wing 2 only has 2, wing 3 has 3, wing 4 has 4, wing 5 is 4, wing 6 is 3, wing 7 those. Sometimes you can just ping like a Kadim or a title. They might ask for that, and what they mean by title is, let's say you're doing challenge mode, so you would change your title. Like I could go to, let's see, I forget what they all are, Voice in the Void, let's say, for you know, you have that for Beating Doom, and then you have like a couple here, like Everlasting Ally of Adashim. I can't remember them all, but like there's that. So you just show that title to prove. So either way, that stuff works. And then once you get a party and they enter, if you're just hanging out here waiting for the commander to enter, you'll get a pop-up that says enter da da da. You just click on it to enter. Or let's say you're not in the party or you're not ready at that time, then you could just run to the exact door. Let's say they were doing 1, 2, 3, wing 3 here. You just run up, you'd get this, and you'd click it'd give you the ability to enter even though you're not a commander because you have a party that's in there already. Or you just, maybe you're out of the zone waiting while they're just fooling around with whatever they got to do and they're finally ready. You come in, as soon as you pour it in, you should get a pop-up, and again you click to get in there. I believe that's everything in a nutshell for intro that you need to know. Let's check looking for group one more time. Maybe we'll get lucky. It is Monday. A lot of people are trying to knock some of these out at the beginning of the week. That's how they usually do it. That's how I used to do it. Still known. You got these guys selling. I would love to post looking for group what it would look like, but I'm afraid someone to join. I'm not really running raids at the moment. Let's see. So I think that's all we're going to leave you with. Any questions, leave in the comments. I know I covered a lot. And as always, have a wonderful day.